Hi, team. Welcome to week 4. We've had a fast weeks 1 through 3. I hope you've got some good tools out of this and been able to apply what you've been learning to whatever you're doing now, whatever projects you may be on now. So let's go ahead and jump in. And this week, we're going to be looking at Chapter 8 in our textbook. That should be right here. Now, what we're looking at is performance interventions, and they mentioned in the book that a lot of people don't like the term interventions, but that's what is used same way in performance psychology and everything else. Interventions is the primary term. If you work somewhere or are consulting somewhere and they don't like that term, simply make it a different term. But what an intervention is anything that closes that gap. So what we have to do is, and we've talked about this in weeks 1 through 3, is define our current location where we're at, or our current situation. So the current state, future state, and then what needs to close that gap. And the intervention is what will close that gap. And what I've found is that it's not necessarily just one single intervention, but it's multiple things that help to close that gap. And it depends on the organizational culture. It depends on the organization itself, the structure of it, the way it's set up, what interventions are the best fit. Because remember, one thing we want to make sure is it is one of the cheapest interventions. So cost does factor in, but it also has to be effective. And part of that effectiveness is matching that organizational culture and organizational structure. It really has to be able to do that. So in our text, they talk about learning and non-learning interventions that we're going to dig in deeper into that during this week. So I'll let that transpire as we go through our discussions this week. We're going to be week 4. There we go. We've had some great discussions in week 3, so I appreciate the effort that you put into that, making those discussions move along nicely and go deep, because remember, we want inch wide and a mile deep. So we're taking one small topic and driving it a mile deep. So now week 4, discussion 4, we're going to dive further into our fast food case study. And we're going to be summarizing the root causes. Now remember, root causes, there's generally multiple root causes, so I tend to stay away from the word or the phrase root cause and just talk about causes, because there's usually many. But root cause is so indoctrinated into business, things like that, that it may be something that you want to keep. But it just depends on you. So if we're talking about causes or root causes, those are oftentimes intermixed between the two. So we'll have that. So I look forward to our discussions there. And in our course blog as well, we have that due this week. Let's take a look at that real quick. We have week 4 extended readings one more time, and our instructions are right here. So we want to look at, once again, we want to extend our range, if you will. We want to extend our abilities to define human performance technology and our tools within it. So that's what we want to use for week 4. Anything to do with human performance, this is just for your take on it, so we can all learn from your perspective from this. So that's kind of where we are with that. So no major assignments are due this week, but remember that coming up, you're going to have that assignment 2 due next week. So in week 5, assignment 2 is going to be due. So you may want to work on that. And that's just our solution and evaluation plan that's worth 75 points. And here is the rubric, of course, as you have probably seen it already. And here's a checklist. And that is exactly how I go through it in a grade. I just go directly with the checklist. And so I'll go down each site, see what's in there, not in there, whatever it may be, mark, and give the feedback. So I hope this was helpful. I'll be setting up a live session this week. Well, actually, this week I get to do the Tuesday live session with everybody. It'll be an overview of what I did with Lockheed Martin, Skunk Works, and a few other things. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be interactive. Well, at least I'm going to have a good time. Hopefully everyone else does and gets something from it. So if you can show up on Tuesday, it'd be great to have you there. If you're not able to, they've been very good at recording these sessions, so it should be in our guest speakers recording. Probably Ariana's been getting that to us about a day after, so not much of a lag time in between the actual presentation and the recording being posted. So that's been working out really well. So I assume that I'll have that posted by Wednesday if you're not able to be there by Tuesday. If you are, come prepared to engage in the conversation and hopefully have a good time and enjoy yourself and while learning some new tools and things like that. So have a fantastic week, and I appreciate all the effort that you've been putting forward into class. It's been making it very enjoyable, and my own perspective has been growing from this as well. So I appreciate that, and thank you.